What's the word? I'm back with part 4. And the last part of the series, Who is Allah? Okay. The Hindu connection. So now that we know that Allah, we know that the Muslims call God Allah. Okay. Now, if you've been watching if you watched 1 through 3 series, and you would know by now that Allah is not a name, is not the name of God, the Creator. The name of the Creator is Yahuwah, and Allah is just a pronoun meaning the God, okay, the God. So, who is the God, right? The God can be anything, right? Because we know that the scriptures say there are Lord's many and God's many, but there's one God and one Adonai, Yeshua. One God, Yahuwah, and one mediator, and one Adonai, which is master, interpreted master, king, whatever, authority, power, is Yeshua. All right, let's jump into it. Okay. Now, it says the Shivaling ritual is the most sacred in Hinduism. The stones may be any color and are called Shivalingam, okay? The egg-shaped stone is placed over the whole vagina. You see this wickedness? It says the egg-shaped stone is placed over the whole of the vagina. Shaped metal object called yoni, representing the vagina of Shiva's spouse, Shakta. The egg-shaped stone and domes represent Shiva's phallus, which is a penis. You see how wicked this stuff is? The Western world, which is where we stay, the Western world uses a tree and rat as the occult sex object for the nativity of the sun. In Shivalingam ritual, milk is poured over the object inside Shiva shrines like the one pictured below. You see this? This stuff is all over the world, man. The cubical space above is the inside of a Shiva temple with the ritual object Shivalingams on display. This stuff is wicked, alright? And it's not of Yahuwah, it's not of the Father. It say with Shivalingams on display, pagan shrines were placed where devotees worship the host of heaven by engaging in sexual activities, often in boots that encircled the shrine. Shakta's object is shown below without the Shivalingam installed. Okay. So we know the host of heaven is, things of the Creator Yahuwah, like the moon, the stars, the sun, the cloud, what have we. All right. And he said, the first commandment is to have no other gods before me. And these people clearly is disrespecting that. They're clearly not keeping it. Shivaling on the Temple Mount, as we see Pagan worship went underground and meanings were hidden from the eyes of the casual observer. See, they try to hide it too, but now in these days, it's all out. It's called the occult for a reason. The mystical meaning is understood only by those who receive the esoteric understanding. Those outside only see the surface of the exoteric understanding. From only what we've seen so far, there are shared objects and rituals found in Islam, also used in and around the shrines of Hinduism. Now, you got to ask yourself, now why is there similarities why is there similarities with Islam and Hinduism? Right? One of them came before the other. We know Hinduism came before Islam, right? Borrowing, I said that in my other series, one of the other series, all these religions do is borrow after each other. Look what they say, borrowing the idolatry. If we put everything together, something highly offensive to our Creator is going on literally in his face, where he has placed his name forever. The mosque on the Temple Mount is built with the feature of a Shiva shrine, a huge Shivalingam, and the Yoni united in the architecture, modeling a huge Shivalingam. Religious rituals and their objects hold occult meanings, but only the initiated. To those outside, their minds are veiled to the inner meanings. So what he's saying is, you might look at a building like that, and it just look like, oh, it's just a building with a dome on the top of it, but not knowing that represents a male penis and a vagina at the bottom, and inside is worship of false god deities. You see that? So we have to be mindful of Satan and his devices, because we know in Revelations it says that Satan was cast out and his angels with him, and they deceived the whole world. So you'll look at something like this and won't think nothing of it, but it's a whole worship of a deity. Shiva temple only openly shivaling with Shakta. The dome object penetrating the central area of this structure has no significance to the worship of Yahuwah, but a striking resemblance to Hinduism worship of Shiva and Shakta. The Far East is filled with Shiva shrines, many central domes emerging from the center. There are two ritual objects associated with what is known as Shivaling, and they are both on display in the architecture of many religious buildings. So it's like all these religious buildings, they all look alike, and they're secretly in worship of Shiva and Shakta. They might call their little deities and gods by different names, but it all goes back to the worship of sex objects. And this is sick. Anatomy of the object. This is crazy, man. All right. Remember the circumambulation when the stars. Remember about the stars walking around? When you're walking around in a circle. Look, pouring milk over the Shivalingam and Yoni. Look. It says the moon god from all four sides. Note the crescent moon carved on his chest. Right there. The moon. This stuff is crazy, yo. Okay. It said Allah is represented by the object shown above from 4 different angles. The crescent is on his chest. The crescent and star in Hinduism represents Shiva and Shakti. See above. Circumambulation. The ancient customs of circular walking or circumambulation is practiced by Hindus, Buddhism. Now these different religions now, and they do the same thing. So you gotta ask yourself. It just all stems from each other. Buddhism, Muslim, and the Roman Catholics. All right, it said Catholicism inherited many worship habits from Hinduism. Now, Roman Catholics created Christianity, okay, and they adopted a lot of pagan customs. That's why the church today celebrate all these holidays. Okay, such as ashes on forehead, holy water on the Ganges, halos, images of deities, pillars of shrines, processions around shrines and cathedrals, and much more. Muhammad took 350 images of various deities out of the Kaaba cube, insisting there was only one deity, Allah. See, he do that, and you thinking he's trying to be monotheistic, which is the belief in one God. But who is Allah? See, you saying the God? Yeah, there is one God, but his name is not Allah. His name is Yahuwah. Exodus 3, it tell you his name. The Kaaba is considered the house of Allah, and Muslims practice the ancient custom of walking around it in the act of worship, just as they were accustomed to doing when the 316 hours were inside. So now, Muhammad took the Kaaba stone. He did away with the 360 idols, but he's still practicing the same things that the people was doing at the Kaaba stone when the 360 idols were there. So it's like you doing the same exact thing that these people are doing. You just took away the idols, and you said it ain't 360 idols, just one God. And then you say Allah, which just interpret the God. There's no difference between when we read our Bible and we calling God and we calling the Creator Lord God. Them's just titles, bro. His name matters. It says the Kaaba is considered the house of Allah, and Muslims practice the ancient customs of walking around it as an act of worship, just as they are accustomed to doing when the 300 idols were inside. See, they're doing the same thing. This practice is called tawaf and shows the worshippers' unity in their service to Allah. Wikipedia states, the circle begins from the black stone Al-Hajar al-Aswad on the corner of the Kaaba. If possible, Muslims are to kiss or touch it. But this is often not possible because of the large crowds. So it isn't acceptable for them to simply point or hold up their head to the stone of each circuit. They are also to make the takbar prayer each time they approach. Islamic method at the top, Hindu and Catholic below. You see? The Muslims right here going around in a circle. And look, you're worshiping a rock, bro. Period. That's forbidden. Look at and then look at the at the bottom, Hindu and Catholic. They're doing the same exact thing. Walking around a stone. Okay? So why is there similarities? You gotta ask yourself. Look at this. It says, see, all these religions and cultures worship the moon, man. Egyptians, from the Egyptians to whoever, Greeks, the Romans, they are borrowed off each other anyway. The Catholic Mary stands above on a crescent, an image shared from Babel, the Far East, Egypt, and many others. The Babylonian trinity of Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Now, this is the first trinity, Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. Became the model for all future pagan worships. The worship of the hosts of heaven focused on the babbled names of Nimrod as a sun deity is also called astrology. So, people be getting people into astrology, horoscopes, is all worship of false gods, man. The Hindu trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Shiva show the principle of creation, preservation, and destruction. The third member of this trinity, Shiva, is associated consistently with the crescent moon and the principle of destruction. Look at this. Shiva is Allah, man. Crescent, serpent, beads. Look at the hand symbols. Ain't that the same hand symbols that all the so-called saints of the Catholic Church make? Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Creation, preservation, and destruction. Shiva the destroyer. Prayer to Allah, prayer to Mary. I have read that Muslims pray to the mother of Jesus, whom they call Isa, from the Latin Is, cryptonym seen in the Latin Vulgate. Okay? Now, you gotta ask yourself, the name of the Son of God is Yisra'EL. You know what I mean? So where do they get all these names from? That's why I tell people the importance of the name, the true name. Alright? Yeshua, the Son of God, was a Hebrew. Therefore, you should call him by his Hebraic name, which is interpreted, Yah is salvation, which means God saves. Yah saves. In 1992, a Muslim came into the store I worked in and saw the dozen of posters all around teaching the truth. He came up and asked me several questions, and I asked him one or two as well. I asked, how many beings do you pray to? Immediately he answered one. See, that's what they do. In their mind, they say they think they praying to one, but they know the truth. They just don't want to tell you. So I pressed him further. Do you also pray to Mary? Now you got to ask yourself, why Muslims praying to Mary? But he did not know. Okay, let me start over. Do you also pray to Mary? He asked the question. He didn't remember that his faith also taught him to pray to Mary. But he did not know why. See, you're supposed to be able to prove all things. When somebody comes to you and asks you something about your faith, you're supposed to be able to answer all questions. So this is the blind leading the blind. So I pressed him further. I read that. I explained to him that Muslims pray to Mary because Catholics pray to her. He looked confused and didn't know what to think. The Quran mentions Mary 44 times, yet the writings of Scripture only mentions her name 19 times. There is a shrine in Ephesus called the Ephesus Shrine, and Muslims and Christians pray there daily. Over 1 million devotees come there from all over the world to pray to Mary. You gotta ask yourself, why is Muslims and Christians praying to the same deity? Yes, Mary Miriam is the actual mother of Yeshua. Her Hebraic name is Miriam. But you see how they take people and they turn them to idols? Just like they took the Son of God, changed his name, and turned him into an idol and made a false image of him. When the law tells us to not make any graven images. You see, these people just all completely in error. Prayer beads, okay. Originating in India, prayers to Shiva using beads began about the 8th century BCE, 28 years ago. Each prayer bead is related to a tear from Shiva's eyes. After a long meditation, the construction of the device used seeds having 5 sides, connecting them to make a bead mala, a bracelet and or necklace. Shiva is often shown with both. Shiva's tear. Like, look at this, man. There's no Hindu has a bead mala. Islamic has a tabish, beads, and the rosary from the Catholic. Now you gotta ask yourself, why all these people got beads? You can't even, this is not scriptural. You cannot find beads. The Most High said to not pray. You know, he didn't say pray with beads. Hindu, Buddhism, Muslim, Catholic, Signal all share the repetitive prayer custom. Some also spin prayer wheels to send more prayers skyward in less time. You see this, man? Come on, man. Okay, let me see what else I got. Okay, we are to avoid pagan customs. This is from the Bible, Yahusha, Joshua 24:14 to 16. 14 through 15. What does it say? And now, fear Yahuwah, serve him in perfection and in truth, and put away the mighty ones which your fathers served. You're talking to the Israelites, because we as Israelites we have a huge major problem with going into idolatry and following after the heathen. All right, that's why I say the religion is of Satan, and it's gonna get you destroyed. All right. It says beyond the river and in Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, and serve Yahuwah. And if it seem evil in your eyes to serve Yahuwah, choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whom you going to serve. Rather the mighty ones which your fathers serve. Mighty ones is just interpreted like little gods, like little false gods basically. Which your fathers served that were beyond the river, or the mighty ones of the Amorites. So he's talking about, when he say mighty ones, it's just interpreted God. Or the mighty ones of the Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but I and my house, we will serve Yahuwah. Right? Okay. Let's read this. Allah, the Hebrew origin of the word. There is confusion about the term Allah, Aleph Lam Hey, because it is mistaken to be a proper noun or name of a deity. Allah is a Hebrew term and is not a name. Allah is the pronoun the Muslims call an ancient moon deity. Allah, and Elohim, aka Elah, are pronouns understood to mean the God. See, they're not even calling on the God can be anything. Anything can be a God. Anything that's worshiped can be a God. So when you say the God, or if you say Allah, you're just saying the God. The root al is spelled Aleph Lam, meaning upwardness, exalt, mighty, high above. The language of the descendants of Yisra'EL is very close to that of their father Abraham, the Ishmaelites, right? So Muhammad, who created Islam, was an Ishmaelite. He came from Abraham and Hagar, the Egyptian maid. The crescent moon symbol, so that's why, Ishmael spoke Hebrew also, because Abraham did. Look at this. The crescent moon symbol has century. The crescent moon symbol has been taken to symbolize a faith group called Islam since the 7th century. Worshipping things in the heavens above is prohibited by the second commandment. We should never bow down to any images. The worship of the host of heaven, zodiac, constellations, has always been a stumbling block for the nations. The symbol of a crescent moon shown beneath the sun is a common image used throughout history. In plain sight of the U.S. Great Seal, the lower banner forms a crescent. The nations bow to symbols of their deities and refer to them in code secret terminology. They would not openly use the name of their deity. See, they got the name of their deities are sacred. I don't know why, but they're sacred. They would not openly use the name of their deities. The nations inherited their patterns of behavior from Babel worship of the host of heaven. See book Nimrod, Secret Identities. That's another book that I have. I'm gonna start doing. I got a lot of books, man, and it's not gonna help me. It's not beneficial to me. It is beneficial to me to get the knowledge, but I also want to share this knowledge with others. What's the point of me having books and knowledge and I'm not sharing it with nobody? All right. Okay. It says the crescent moon symbol is the prominent image of the Islamic faith. Adherents are trained to bow to a building in Mecca, meaning destruction or slaughter in Hebrew, containing images of the host of heaven. These have sexual symbolisms associated with the Babel fertility practice have filled the planet with idolatry. You see that, man? This world full of idolatry and it is in our face. Okay, who is Allah? Why do people walk around this shrine? Walking around venerated objects comes from Hinduism, not Islam. So this is what it is. This is where Islam gets their practices from. Elohim is not Allah. The moon deity of Kaaba, the Kaaba is called the house of Allah. Muslims know the term Allah is not a name. If you ask any Muslim what does Allah mean, they'll tell you. But a pronoun meaning the God. But on the other hand, they believe their deity has 99 names. This is one of the traits of Hinduism. Since there are trinities upon trinities upon trinities, first let's learn a little more about the Hebrew origin of the word Allah, restoring the letter A to Alam, Elohim. Seen as Elohim, does not associate the word Aleph, Lam, Hey with Islam. Although that may be a normal person's initial reaction, next let's consider some letters. Okay. Adam means red ground. Aretz means earth, soil. Elohim means elevated, high, upward, mighty one. Abraham means father of nations, multitudes. Okay. In the 8th century, a new sect called Khazarites, aka Masoretes, altered the sound of the letter Aleph, A, to An, E, using nikhud, marking they had invented the bend, the pronunciation of vowels. This sect began with Anan ben David in 767. See, so they started twisting up translations to get people to, not call on the name of the Father, man. And like I say, it's all the tricks of the enemy to get you to not call on the Father. Just like the English Bible, it don't have the name of God in there. It got Jehovah but it replaces the name of Yahuwah with Jehovah and Lord in all caps. And it don't say Elohim, it say God. All right? It say who also adopted the sight moon, crescent sightings of Muslims. While under a Muslim caliphate in the city of Babylon in 767, Anan was imprisoned to be executed for rebellion, but the Islamic caliph and his Yahidim brethren, by adopting the sighted moon of the Muslims, the new sect, the Masoretes, traditionalists, did not want anybody to properly speak the four-vowel name Yod-He Yahuwah. So they invented vowel distortion, see? Using niquid and cancellations marks to retrain readers of Hebrew to mispronounce certain words. Elohim became Elohim, and Yahoo became Yeho. They left the name Abraham alone, otherwise it would be called Abraham by everyone today. The Hebrew root al, aleph, became El. This root is not a name. It is a pronoun referring to one who is lofty, upward, above, high, strong, mighty. El is spelled al, aleph, ayim, lame, El. Aleph, lame, El. Yahuwah Elohim means I am your mighty one. Dear Allah is not your Yahuwah. We do not bow down to objects representing the host of heaven. Its idolatry ritual objects formerly and currently used to worship pagan deities are found everywhere in open view of everyone. They are veiled to minds of those who only see the exoteric meaning. Dome at Rome, Hindu Shiva Shrine. Egyptian obelisks in the Aveda Tondo, Hindu Wheel of Life. The shape of the oval space above mimics the shape of the Hindu ritual object called the Yoni, Shakta, into which the male object Shiva is inserted. The Egyptian stone obelisks completes the Shivalingam. Okay. So we know that Sheba is Allah. The blue skin of the Hindu deity represented their ascending state, taking on the color of the sky. So I used to always wonder why this thing was blue. Like if you notice the Indian guy, they're like